And then all of a sudden this little girl looks at me and she's like, hey, Daddy, can you pass to me? And I'm like, oh man. And I could tell her mom was standing by a little ways off. But I'm like, hey, is her dad here? Maybe is her dad here? And she's like, no, her dad's a deadbeat. He's not in the picture. And I was just like, man, dude, this little girl, this beautiful little girl who just, she doesn't even know me.
Yeah.
She says daddy, not out of an understanding of what that even means. God's heart is for family to be generational and for faith to be generational. But to do that, it takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of effort. It takes a lot of time. And
people outsource everything, they cleaning of their house, they outsource their children's education, like
cooking.
Everything. They're cooking. They're like, so everything's outside of the home. There is a longing for parents to be a part of raising their kids to know the Lord, but there is a lack of knowing how.
Welcome to the show again. We're going to talk about Legacymakers.
yeah, thank you so much for having us, man.
How are you guys feeling?
Great.
Yeah.
Ready to go.
Why don't we start with introduce yourself real quick, tell us a little bit about what's Legacymakers, what's your role, anything you want to say about, your family, your role maybe in Costa Mesa, what you guys do. So
Do you want to go, Meg? What's your role?
Sure. Yeah, I'm Megan. I am, I feel like when we first started, it was very much doing it together, and we were kind of partners in everything we did. But as the years have gone on, and as we have added children to our family, I have kind of taken steps back, and I still am the creative director for Legacymakers and still do a lot of the design and graphics and content development and stuff like that, and still help Ben with some decisions and stuff. But I've taken a step back and largely just homeschool our children and take care of them and support Ben. And really, I'm on call
She's
now,
awesome.
so I just do whatever projects Ben asks me to do for Legacymakers.
Yeah, she does incredible work. I was up meeting with the church the other day, and one of the pastors was like, this box is amazing. It just makes me want to open it up and read through all the material. It's so beautiful. And that was Meg.
that's all
It was all
work.
Meg. Yep.
Nice.
I did nothing.
Cool. Love it.
She's awesome.
Wow.
But yeah.
Cool.
Maybe
Wanna
she
say
can
something?
help us with the studio. Then now we want to move.
Oh,
to
yeah.
Maria.
Good designer.
Sure.
She's super good designer.
Yeah.
Yes,
She's
I really love her.
Yeah. Gotta be
touch.
connected.
It's warm. It's I don't know. It's so creative.
Thanks.
And we love plants.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah. There'll be a whole lot more green in the new
other
place.
studio.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, this is exciting because I was saying Christian podcast, right? Where we're at right now, the studio and everything. We started in 2020 officially, right? I mean, like I was saying before we started recording, we've
That's
been
when you
doing
got
this
your
for.
LLC, huh?
That's when we became an LLC. Had no idea, right? All I knew is I don't want to be a nonprofit, and not to say, I mean, you guys are a nonprofit. But I'm like, I just want to start a business. I want this to be a business.
So cool.
And didn't have any idea whatsoever what that was going to entail.
Wow.
And I think we're still
pay
figuring it
taxes.
out. Yeah, we need to
know.
pay tax, all these
That's a
things,
lot of
right?
money.
So expensive.
But it's been fun. But then along the way, we met you guys, which that's an incredible story in itself too. I think we talked about it on our
I think we
episode
did.
together
Yeah.
way back.
We probably need to do a refresh, though.
Yeah. So, okay. So I'll say how we met. I took Millie to the store. And back in the days, you had a black van, just like a minivan.
Yep.
It's exactly the
Honda
same like the
Odyssey.
one we had. So Millie is really, she always forgets kind of like, if you tell her go right, she'll go left when she's out of a place, So I always say, if you're trying to find your way, go the opposite place where you thought, and you'll probably end up
It
the
works.
correct. It works.
It works.
Wow.
So in this case, she went to the store, and when she came out, she saw the van, but way closer to the store. She's like, "Oh, cool! I think Beto moved." So as she tries to open the door, lo and behold, it wasn't me. It was Ben, and then was like, "Whoa! What's going on?"
Who are you?
Right? Who are
Get
you?
out of my car.
And then the funny thing is, Millie knows everybody. It's like, "I know you. I've seen you before, right?" And then
I'm like, what?
yeah. So I mean, that's kind of like, I guess you were spying on them on social media, right? On
Facebook.
Facebook. And
how did we actually connect? I forget how we actually connected.
Well,
Like, how-
then you were like, "Oh, we should actually get together." We
Yeah, this is a sign.
at the park or something.
No,
Yeah.
we were friends in Facebook. So I told you this is not a coincidence.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, that's
Let's
right.
do a podcast together. I'm gonna invite you. I was like, I just love what you're doing, and I want to do it.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like in my life, I always want to grow. You know, and be better person, have a better family, and like, look, better what they're doing. We need that. I need that. I want to. You know. So that's how I reach out
Yeah,
to
I think
you.
we connected on social media.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I remember it was Facebook for sure.
Facebook, yeah.
Yeah.
But we met at a park.
We met at a park
Got
the
the
first
kids,
time.
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
We were a little hesitant because when you said, "Oh yeah, let's meet and talk about family and stuff," and
Yeah.
I immediately we had no previous encounters with people that we met kind of like randomly,
Super friendly. Nice.
even within the church, right? Where it ended up being Amway.
Yeah.
So I was like, "Oh, I hope they don't say like they're selling Amway or something."
Herbalife.
Yeah, Herbalife. And that was
like that.
my only thing, you know. Even when you came to the podcast, I was still like, "Is he gonna say Amway?" I
On the
totally thought, you know. But no, we ended up becoming really good friends, and now we have, you know, the Legacy Man group.
On Friday
where we
mornings.
meet every Friday morning. It's been awesome, and but 2020 was quite the year to
was a
start
big
anything,
year.
right? So
Seriously.
the first question,
Crazy.
and I have right here, AI'd the question.
Ay.
AI'd the question.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Okay, starting Legacy Makers in 2020 was a bold step in a year full of uncertainty for people of faith. How did that time shape the foundation of Legacy Makers? And what's one lesson from that season that still guides your work today?
Jeez.
So,
AI is good, man.
It is.
I don't come up with those questions.
That is a good question. You're going to have to re-say it because that was such a good question. So
Okay.
There's a lot there.
So 2020 was a bold step in a year full of uncertainty for people of faith. How did that time shape the foundation of Legacy Makers? What's one lesson from that season that still guides your work today?
Man, you know, I think the one lesson that still guides my work today was I remember praying about what we were going to do. We had just, we were just feeling like God, there's something else that God, you know, wanted for us in 2019. And we were praying about it. And it was just this season where we were just really spending a lot of time in prayer and trying to seek God's wisdom for what to do. And we just felt like he was calling us to every time we prayed. And we went out to the desert for like a little personal retreat, I think late 2019 or something, or with the kids. And we were just sitting outside one night talking, and we just both felt it. But I think that the whole idea that I'm trying to say is that the one thing that has shaped our, I think, just progression and journey is always going back to God and making him our direction and our focus. And I even today, like when we feel stuck or when we feel confused or when we feel doubtful of what is to come, my natural instinct is always going like, I need to go and like meet with God. I need to go talk to him. I need to go pray. I need to go figure out, almost like get my faith built back up for the journey ahead. And I just feel like that's always been like the MO for us for a long time. What about you? What would you say?
yeah, I think something that we didn't really anticipate in starting and then the pandemic happening was how families were together more than ever during that time.
Wow.
And so I think that actually was a great opportunity for Legacy Makers to start and offer like resources and content
Yeah.
and things to help families think about, you know, when you're together so much and in a stressful season of, you know, there was a lot of uncertainty in that time that it gave the opportunity for people to be like, what are we doing? Why? And it brings up a lot of emotion within the family. And I think looking back at that time was like, it was actually such a great opportunity. And I think something we did right off the get-go, which like we didn't necessarily plan on doing, that was creating different like video content and different things for families and things they could do together, activities and stuff like that. It kind of is just like stuff we started doing because of what was happening in the world around us. And so that's something we still offer, even though that's not like the main thing that we do. It's like still creating resources for families.
That's so good. Yeah. So from my vantage point, like, we're more like communications and media and cameras, right? So from my vantage point, it's like, okay, 2020 was the year the churches that survived, it was because they went online, right? And they did some sort of like connecting with people online. All that has kind of like changed through in the last 5 years, which is insane to think.
So crazy.
But do you think God orchestrated, like, to me, it seems like God orchestrated that for the church in the sense of like, what if Sunday, there's a book by a guy named Alan Hirsch, where he was suggesting the idea that if you're playing chess and the queen is kind of like the one that rules the whole chess game, is like, what if you would play chess without the queen? How would you be able to win? And he was saying, what if Sunday for the church has become like that queen? So in a sense, felt like COVID brought like, okay, God is removing our queen, which is Sunday service, like the hour or 2 hours that we have. How are you going to be a church without the queen?
Wow.
Right. So for us, it was like super evident, like, oh, wow. So we went online and did all these things. And it seems like God orchestrated something similar for the families. Right. So from your vantage point, your expertise with families, you're saying God just created a time where maybe even without families being intentional, they just had to be together.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Right? So what was that like?
Well, I feel like it totally just teed Legacymakers up to do a lot of outreach for families and almost kind of help steer them in this time of like, they're together now. Like they have to be together. They have to be, they're forced to interact. They're forced to deal with, conflict and, different things going on, and the kids running around all day, while the dad's working at home, and, they're trying to figure that out, and, eating breakfast in the morning with everyone. And, it just forced a lot of family dynamics that weren't there before because, kids were in school, dad was working, mom's doing her thing. And it was just, everyone was separate. And now, boom, everyone's together. How do we do this? How do we exist as a family? How do we talk? How do we navigate this? What do we do? How do we have fun?
What matters to us?
Yeah. So I feel like it really just teed everything up. Yeah, that's cool, because some people were back then talking about like the Great Reset. And I think God was doing kind of like a great family reset, right? And utilizing you guys. So in the 5 years, like, talk about, you've been kind of like celebrating, this is your 5th year in existence. And I've been seeing, your posts, and you're like celebrating, this is what happened in year 1. This is what happened in year 2. So would you kind of like just do a summary, maybe what are things you are celebrating as Legacymakers in these last 5 years, things that you're excited about seeing God do? Yeah, I think the 5th year is a big deal. Like, I read the statistics, even when we first started, it was like, I don't know, it was like 90% of businesses go out of business within the first 5 years.
Wow.
Nonprofits is probably even higher.
Wow.
And so that was like,
we made it.
We made it to 5 years. It was something that I told our pastor when I was working at the Crossing Church. And I'm like, you know what? If we can just get to 5 years, I think we'll be okay. And by God's grace, somehow we've made it through, and we've navigated all these different things and changes, and with COVID and government, and the different just external landscapes out there. We've navigated all of that, and God's brought us all the way through. And somehow, some way, like, we made it to 5 years. So I mean, that was a big thing, and I think there's a lot more. I think it's been fun to reflect back on each year and kind of what that year looked like, because we're doing like a year kind of each week of this month. We're kind of reflecting on, and last week was year 2, and year 2 was like packed with activity. We were just starting out, and we're like trying everything. We did all these events. We're just throwing everything we can at the wall to see what sticks. Everything we could think of, we did. We did so much. But
not all of that stuff has continued.
Yeah.
And so I think it's been cool to reflect and see like, wow, we've really done so much, but also the beauty of like narrowing our focus and seeing what really what really matters, what's really resonating with families, what are families really needing, and where is God directing the need for what we do.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest things was just realizing that we can't do all of those things, and it's funny because we help families get really clear and focused and intentional, and so we had to go through that as well as an organization, as a nonprofit. We had to get really clear and intentional, like what is the most important thing for Legacy Makers. When we think about Legacy Makers, we're helping families build strong family legacies. But when we first started, we didn't really have a clear picture and a vision for what God was wanting to do in and through Legacy Makers. We didn't even get that, and that's what's coming up in this next week
We just
email.
wanted to help families.
We just wanted to help families live intentionally.
Anyway,
Any way we can. We have one.
you wanna go camping? Let's go camping.
Yeah, we did
I'm gonna
that.
teach you.
We did that. We did a
We
bunch
have
of
so much
stuff.
fun. Yeah.
We're trying to like cultivate this idea of intentionality and being intentional together. And we didn't that vision, the vision that we have now didn't really reveal itself until like 3 years in, 2022 or whatever, 2023. And it was just, we were just going and going and going and going. And that was a huge thing when that started to come out, and just through a lot of prayer. And obviously this whole journey there's been so much faith involved, and like really requiring us to stay close to God, to stay, close to what he's saying, and to like maintain that contact and relationship with him. We wouldn't be here if it wasn't for that, and staying close to God, because it's totally changed and transformed over the past, several years of from what Legacy Makers started as to what it is now, and where we're going and what our vision is now.
So what's some of the feedback you're getting from families, that the real needs, or how have they evolved? Like, what if you narrow it down to, and I mean, you still have an email that you're going to release, right?
Yeah.
So maybe keep that a surprise. But what are some of those, maybe the clarity that you're getting? Like, oh, okay, this is what families need, and this is how we can help them as Legacy Makers, like something more focused. What does that look like?
You can jump in here too, but I think the biggest thing, well, there's two things. It's our focus has really been narrowed down into, which is our mission now, which is to envision, encourage, and empower families to build a legacy that they're proud of. And it ties to our vision, which is to see family restored to the way that it was intended, so that every generation will set their hope anew on God. And like I said, those things came out in prayer in 2022. We were 3 years in at that point. We didn't, we just got going. We started, but we didn't really know what we were doing or where we were going. But we feel like that was the feedback, and that was what we were feeling like God was calling us to be a part of with him, with Legacy Makers. Was God's heart is for family to be generational, and for faith to be generational. Not, there's a lot of research and data right now where there's so much fall off. There's so much.
Beto.
Sorry, we're going to show you a video, but yeah, there's fall off.
There's a lot of fall off with faith. Generation after generation, you have so much faith that's just falling off after the families, and that's not God's heart. Mm-hmm. Like, God's heart is every generation setting their hope anew on God. Mm-hmm. But to do that, it takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of effort. It takes a lot of time and focus, intentionality. And it's really, really hard to do that in today's day and age and culture.
I think in the whole history, if now I'm thinking of the kings, in the past.
Yeah.
At the beginning were great, and was just one person who came and ruined everything. And after that king, everybody was like, and he was worse than the past one.
Yeah.
And like, oh boy, like we're so lost.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the opposite of what you're saying, right?
Yeah. It goes one way or the other.
Yeah, but God's mercy and love for us, that's what saves us.
Yeah,
all the
exactly.
time. And give us the opportunity.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think too, like in this, I don't know, modern era, like people outsource everything. You know, they outsource their cleaning of their house. They outsource their children's education, like
Cooking.
everything. They're cooking. They're like so many things that we look outside of the home to have people come in and help us, or send our kids out, or send,
Wow.
everything's outside of the home. And so I think there is a longing to see for parents to be a part of raising their kids to know the Lord, but there is a lack of knowing how, because there's been, years and years of trusting other people to do it and not raising up the parents to really know how to teach their own children and disciple their own children.
Yeah.
And so
I have such a great example.
yeah.
I remember a little girl was telling me, I hired a person to come and help me with my baby to go to the bathroom.
Wow.
And I was like, what?
No offense to that person,
I
by the
didn't
way.
know that exists.
I know.
Especially for that,
Yeah.
party train.
Wow.
Yeah.
Sorry, but
No.
just like, yeah, that's true.
It's outsourcing taking your
Like,
kid to
okay.
poo.
That's
Okay.
unbelievable. But I think it's our
$20.
job,
Okay.
Jeez.
So people outsource everything.
See.
So what were you saying, that the outsourcing is part of the culture of families now?
Yeah, so I think there's a need, like parents are seeing their need to disciple their own children, and churches are starting to see the need to help their parents do that themselves, not rely on the church to be their only source of training for their children.
Yeah.
But there is a lack of knowing how. And so I think that's where Legacy Makers comes in, where
Yeah.
So good.
it's not just giving them the resources, but actually helping them learn and
It's-
implement how to start
Yeah.
creating those practices and habits in their own
Yeah,
family.
it's family discipleship. No one knows how to do that. Not even churches.
Yeah.
And that's where we feel like Legacy Makers is really helping fill that need.
Yeah. It's so valuable. I mean, when I see your post, I've learned a lot, right? Because I've been with you guys for quite a while, and the whole thing is like intentionality, right? And but at the same time, I see my what do you say when you come short? Like when I come short.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how you say it, right? I guess. Yeah, with my family, right? And sometimes, I get that reminder, like, hey, be intentional. So it's like, oh, yeah, sorry, Lord, forgive me. Like I gotta be an example for my kids, because then they will be an example for their kids. And if one thing is that I've been learning in this like last season, and part of what I've been learning, and I don't want to make it that long, right? But man, the journey with Legacy Makers has been awesome. Like I've loved walking with Legacy Makers and Legacy Men, and the group that we have. And I ended up on the highest mountain in America because of this group,
Crazy.
and because of the inspiration of Legacy Makers. Like I didn't really know that the mountain was like only like 5 hours away, plus the hike, which is a lot out of hours. But I didn't know like all these things that I just kind of like took for granted. And I always kept thinking, well, one day I'll be back in Mexico and I'll take my kids to those times of like being in the outdoors and explore and do fun stuff. But then when the opportunity came to like, hey, here's an open door to go to this mountain, and because of the group we have with Legacy Men, right? I said, I'm in. I gotta take my kids, and if I haven't been able to take them to Mexico in the mountain I thought I was gonna take them, I'll do it on an American mountain. So I was like, I'm all in. It was like all intentional. Like I gotta take my kids, and that's why I brought my two boys, because it was all like I gotta be intentional about bringing them and making it a thing of kind of like passing on the legacy. And then God spoke on that mountain to me, and I think to my kids like unbelievably. It was like so epic. Like oh, like God, you're amazing. Like there's no denial. It's like I came down from that mountain like Moses, like shining. And
that was
totally. It's like
Mess.
to the mess, right? That was happening
Right.
here and kind of like still happening. But but it was like that just gave me like the sense of like, God, you are so generational.
Yeah.
And I think that impression I had been given like through Legacy Makers, like, hey, it's intentionality and it's legacy and it's passing it on to the next generation. And that's your mission as a family. Like you guys
Yeah.
help us create a mission for our family.
Yeah.
So
That
coming-
opened
yeah.
doors
yeah.
like
So-
insane. You know,
What?
when
Legacymakers?
to have our
the mission?
own,
The mission.
Yeah.
you know, establish like who we are,
Yeah.
open doors for us.
Wow.
So,
How so?
when we apply to Pacifica
Oh,
for
yeah.
my
School,
son
yeah.
Joseph, you know, we read all her mission and vision and everything, and we compare, and I was like, blow my mind.
Wow.
Exactly the same.
Wow.
A few words changing. It's like, we belong here, Beto.
Wow.
This.
And
And
you
God
knew.
told me, and God told me, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
because I have this encounter with God where I hear God twice in my life. And when he told me, he asked me, you want Beto for your husband, to be your husband? And I was like crying, like, yes, I take him, you know? But I hear him. And this other time, my son was doing the test to get in Pacifica. And, you know, the building is gorgeous and the view, you see,
Yeah.
you know, the ocean, like, it's beautiful. So I was just looking at the ocean like, oh, look, the beauty, you know. And I was around parents and all the directors. And God told me, I brought you from so far to be here in this moment. This is your people.
Wow.
And I was like, like so
Before he
emotional,
was
crying
accepted.
and crying and crying.
Before he was even
So
accepted.
Yeah,
I,
yeah.
go,
Wow.
I go out
Crazy.
and Joseph like, no, mommy, forget it. The exam was super hard.
Wow.
You think I'm gonna make it? Like, honey, just God told me, like, yes, 100%. Like, no,
Wow.
and people were asking me, right? And I was feeling kind of, I mean, I don't know the future, but God does, and I believe what I hear. So yes,
Yeah.
even my sisters call me lunatic.
Wow.
Like you're wrong, Millie. You don't do this to your kids.
Wow.
But like God can talk, I promise.
Wow. That's faith.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was all because the clarity of like we have a mission as a
are.
family.
Yes.
And then so to summarize, like coming down from the mountain was like God is a generational God, right? And it just became evident, like super evident for me on that mountain. Just like because to me, whenever you guys would ask me or anyone would ask me like, "What's the best time of your life?" I would say, "Oh, going to the mountain with my dad." And then on this mountain, it was almost like a 360 where, wow, now I am the dad.
Yeah.
And I'm bringing this kid to the mountain. And he just experienced, I experienced a miracle, but he was a witness to the miracle of like God healing my knee.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then we climbed this like chute where, I mean, people die on this mountain. I mean, now that I kind of like follow what's going on, people die all the time on this mountain, you know? So
great.
it's like,
That's
it's a really hard hike.
Wow.
And to be able to have done it with Dorian and for Joseph to get to the top.
Wasn't
it was
there like something that Dorian said that was like
Oh yeah,
profound or something?
Oh yeah. So Dorian on the mountain, we're on the chute, so not all the way to the top of the crest, but having gone through like all the starting at 1 a.m., everything's dark. You're wearing like this headlamp. You go through like incredible. Well, you don't see anything because it's all dark, but you go through like rivers and streams and rocks and over logs and stuff. And then you look up and see the sky, and it's just like starry,
Wow.
Milky Way.
Wow.
It's unbelievable. And then you see like these huge mountains on the side. It's another level, right? So as we're on this mountain, like full of snow, getting ready to get to the crest, like 2 miles away from the summit,
Oh wow.
he looks back and he was having a hard time because it was really hard to do, right? Because the normal route was completely covered in snow. So the only route is like the mountaineer's route.
Oh wow.
Which is a hard route. It's not for everybody.
Yeah.
Right. And you got to have like the axe and crampons on your feet, like spikes and stuff. And Dorian is 13. And I look at him and I can see he's a little bit scared. Right. And he's looking back and then he says, "You know what, Dad? Sometimes life is not so much about your destination, but really about looking back and seeing how far you've come.
We've been crying. We've been crying for that.
Yeah,
Oh,
we've been
yeah.
telling that story, but it was like,
Touch our
and
hearts.
I thought, wow, that's so
It finally
that's so
clicked.
epic, right? I mean, that's Dorian being a philosopher at 13, right? That was cool. But then when we finally did this shoot, and we met with the other guys coming back from Summit, and we decided, like Dorian and me, to return and not Summit because it was just really hard, and he was super tired. So when they said, no, Beto, I think the best thing is to return because you guys are tired. You don't know the conditions of the snow going back. Like, it's a whole thing, right? And people die on this mountain.
Yeah.
So I said, okay, let's turn back. And then Dorian starts crying, right? And he's like, oh, Daddy, I'm so sorry. I knew how much this meant to you. Because you went to this mountain in Mexico and you went to the top and you really wanted to get to the top of this mountain in America, right? And he's just like bawling, right? And I'm like, I just hug him.
Wow.
I'm like, Dorian, this was the best time of my life. Like, this was like the most epic time, not getting to the summit, but being with you on that like snow shoot. Like, that's the hardest thing I've ever done in my life and the hardest thing you've ever done in your life.
Wow.
And to experience it with you, I think it was the gift God gave me, that he healed my knee so that I could, like, he slowed me down enough
Yeah.
that it was just you and me. But he also healed my knee so that I could do it and like have the enjoy it, right? Because I was in so much pain on my knee. So I told him that, and in that moment, that's when, like, oh, that's what it was for me with my dad. Like, going to that mountain was epic. So now I'm the dad doing that for my son.
Wow.
And not only that, I mean, that's the generational connection, right?
Now he's going to have that memory.
Yeah.
And then he's going to think when he's a dad,
Yes.
man, like, I remember that time with my dad, and he stayed with me, and
Yeah.
he helped me through there. He didn't go to the top. We had
Yeah.
that special moment.
Yeah.
He's going to take his son.
And then his words became like the prophecy, right? Like,
Yeah.
sometimes it's not the destination, like I wanted to summit,
Yeah.
but it's about like looking back and seeing how far you come. And that's when I told him, like, this was the best time of my life. I didn't need to get to the top.
Yeah.
I already did my top. It was being with you on this thing, right? So it was just epic, and we shared the story and people are crying even like on the
I came across this, I don't know what it was, this Instagram or whatever meme post the other day, and it was like, everything you teach your son, you're also teaching your son's son.
Wow.
And I was just like, man, that's so good. And that's exactly what you're doing. I mean, what you did.
Yeah.
And every time we have that opportunity, we're always, it's like we're speaking into the future. We're speaking into the generations.
Yeah.
All of our parenting, all of our moments is like, it's not just now. It's like we are literally confessing and professing and declaring what the future will contain.
Wow.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
always
it's
tell
so
my
good.
kids, this is going to be the best vacation of your lives. I know sounds like every year I say that, but look back.
Yeah.
Like this year they went to Barcelona, España. They're back.
So cool.
And this Friday they're going to Mexico. No, Sunday they're going to Mexico.
Wow.
But now they're going to visit other parts of Mexico. So see, every year gets
It's
more
amazing.
intense, and and I feel that it's the same thing with God.
Wow.
If we believe that He have great things for us,
Yeah.
that would be happening. We need to accept that.
Yeah.
It's like a gift
Yeah.
for us.
Totally.
Yeah. It's so good. Okay, to finalize, I'll share a video to just kind of like laugh. But before, that's just so epic. The part of like the generational, intentional. When you speak to your son, you're speaking basically to your grandson.
Yeah.
Even if they're not here, and that's so good. So with that in mind, what's next for Legacymakers, right? With that intentionality and focus of, wow, we're impacting generations to come, right? How maybe some things you're excited about Legacymakers moving forward, thinking of the future, how to help people or families really navigate that intentionality.
Well, I feel like there's a lot. We've been in this prayer process probably the last year, just thinking about that, thinking about God's heart, God's purpose, God's mission for families, and what he wants to do in families, and realizing what Meg said, this the need that families and parents, there isn't a lot of support and education and training around how do we actually raise up our kids to know Jesus and to follow him. There's just not. And so with all that in mind, we've just been praying a lot about what that means for the future. And we have this big event coming up in October where we're going to be kind of unveiling our 10-year vision for the next 10 years and what we feel like God is leading us into. But a lot of it has to do with just how can we help more families? How can we help more parents lean into being spiritual leaders and disciple makers in their home, and cultivating an environment in their home that allows faith to flourish and become more resilient through generations. And so there's a lot of different things and ways that we have envisioned, and who knows what God's going to do. Something that I'm personally excited about is just actually God, I think, revealed this to me last October or September. Just he kind of tapped me on the shoulder, and I was with the kids playing soccer at T. Winkle Park over here in Costa Mesa, and this little girl walks up, and she looked very similar to our foster daughter, Rory, and she started kicking the ball back and forth with us, and she's 3 years old and just a cute little girl. And all the kids I was like standing in the middle, and all the kids were around me, and they were saying, "Hey, Daddy, can you pass the ball to me?" Or "Daddy, can you pass the ball to me?" And I, was kicking it back and forth. And then all of a sudden this little girl looks at me and she's like, "Hey, Daddy, can you pass to me?" And I'm like, "Oh man." I was like completely just like taken back. I was, so I looked around and I tried to find her, her parents or whatever. And I could tell her mom was standing by a little ways off. And I'm like, "Hey, is this your little girl?" And she's like, "Oh yeah, she just wants to play soccer. She's just having fun." And, she was kind of being silly, and the kids were starting to play with her. And it was a really cute moment. But I'm like, "Hey, is her dad here? And maybe is her dad here?" And she's like, "No, her dad's a deadbeat." And he's not in the picture. And I was just like, man, dude, this little girl, this beautiful little girl who just, she doesn't even know me.
Yeah.
She says she's daddy, not out of an understanding of what that even means.
That's your name.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. And I was just like, how does a little girl like this deserve to not have a loving father?
I'm going to cry.
And it just totally, I just felt like God was speaking to me in that moment. I went to this conference a couple weeks later, and similar moment, or just similar encounter with God. And so I all that said, God is doing something in Legacymakers where he wants to use Legacymakers to provide fatherhood for kids who don't have dads.
That is huge,
so
Ben.
it's kind of
huge.
That's in the future. Like that's kind of part of our 10 years and beyond, like where we feel like God is moving Legacymakers.
Wow.
So that's like the big thing.
I grew up without a dad. And I was so jealous, every time my friend was with her dad. I remember one time I went to see a concert, like Orquesta Filarmónica,
Philharmonic.
Yeah.
a concert, and
Orchestra.
there's this guy, like with a lot of hair in his face, like, "Oh, he looks like like my dad." And in my mind, I did a whole video, a whole big,
Yeah.
I imagine myself, a movie. I imagine myself running and hugging him like that,
Wow.
like hoping that was
your
him.
Crazy.
Because he looks alike, but I always look for him, like everywhere. And I suffer so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I really wanted that.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oof. Wow. That's so good. Meg, any last maybe words or stories of success that you've heard from families before we go to this last thing I want to show you?
Yeah, I don't know. I think we're just excited to see how families and churches can partner together too.
Yeah.
And how family discipleship can become a part of churches all over too, where churches are really equipping parents and I think we have the privilege of being a part of a church that thinks generationally. And so it's exciting for us to see families in our own church starting to step into that, and seeing families in our church really grab onto this vision and how a church can partner with parents and families. Like, we get to be playing that out right now in the church that we're a part of, which is really exciting and fun to see come alive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is cool.
That's so good.
Just to have a community, right?
Yeah.
Where you can apply all that.
Yeah.
Because it's like I can go to books, I can go to videos, I can go. It's a lot of information out there. But when you belong to a community, you get excited. You get
It's way
like,
different.
inspired.
Yeah.
Like, let's do this. You know, it's beautiful what you guys are doing. I want to belong to.
Yeah. I feel that, just to close out this part, I feel like we are a success story. The Gudino family is a success story of Legacy
Amen.
Makers. We've been impacted
Yes.
by your ministry, by your friendship.
Praise the Lord.
It's tangible. Like I can totally see. I mean, and Legacy Makers was inspired by, in the heart of God for such a time of this, right? And it started in 2020, and it's evolving as the Lord sees fit, and it's changing you guys' mind as people change and families change, but He doesn't change, and He still knows what families really need, and He's still gonna use you guys, and so all that to say, like, thank you for doing what you're doing.
Hey, I stopped using the chancla. That's a huge thing. You shape my culture.
Well, that, and because they're like 16 and 14 now, they're like,
Well, I have
what
my
is that, Mom?
9-year-old.
Hey, Mom, that doesn't hurt anymore.
No.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna end on this. How are you doing, my friends? You guys know me. My name is Beto Gudino. Ben Glassman, how are you doing, man?
Hey, good. Doing
Good.
great.
Cool.
The pandemic has not affected me at all. We're solid.
You're solid?
Yeah.
All right. How do you? You're solid. That was my favorite part. Pandemic has not affected me at all. We're solid.
Yeah.
I think you still hold to that.
Oh, yeah.
That was so funny. I remember when you said that, I was like, oh yeah, we're going through a pandemic. What do you think about when you look back at maybe just this little snippet, what does it make you think?
Oh, just, first thoughts. It's just like, wow, I had no idea what I was doing or what I was saying. I still don't.
Yeah.
But
look at us.
Definitely looking at that old Ben there.
Yeah.
No idea what he was doing.
The guy in the yellow, just look at that.
Minion.
A minion.
So funny.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then I added like this huge blur on the top of the video. Oh man.
Looks cool.
Those were the times. Okay.
So good.
Well, thank you guys for sharing a little bit about Legacy Makers, or a lot. Let's close it out. Where like families, invite families to sign up.
Yeah.
And
Check out Legacy
check
Makers.
it out. Yeah.
Start living intentionally. Build a legacy you're proud of. Do it.
Do it. Meg, you want to say something?
If we offer like in-person one-on-one coaching, which I feel like is great, which is what we did with you guys. Actually,
Yeah,
we did it
that's
with the
right.
group, right? But we also have like e-course style ones now where it's like self-paced. But actually, I will say this is like a newer offering for us. We were just looking online at the people who've signed up. In person's the way to go, guys. Like, there's not as much accountability when you do it e-course style,
Wow.
right?
Yeah.
It's hard
Yes.
to stick with it.
That's our
diving
forte.
into family is hard, right?
is.
You face like the challenges in your marriage. You face things that are uncomfortable. We go into family of origin stuff. That stuff's hard to do on your own. So
Yeah, I guess just to maybe make it a little more clear, if you don't know what it takes, or if you don't know how to instill lasting values, if you don't know what you really value as a family, as a couple, with your kids, you don't know how to impart those things into your kids, you feel disconnected in your marriage, you feel disunified in your marriage. Legacy Makers is designed to help all of those issues. Legacy Makers will help you build a strong legacy.
Yes.
And that lasts generations. So if you don't know how, make sure to check it out. Check it out on the website. You can go to the link or whatever. You can we are Legacy Makers. legacymakers.com. Yeah, we would love to help you.
Thank you guys for sharing about
Thank
Legacy
you.
Makers. Thank you for being a part of our journey.
Thank you, man. It's been
Yeah.
an honor.
We love you
And
guys.
so cool.
Thank you for being the light of this world. Thank
Yeah, you too.
Thank you for
Thank
helping
you
us.
guys.
Yeah.
You guys
amazing.
rock. Thanks for having us. Thanks for giving us the
Yeah.
opportunity.